Hello there everyone, welcome to Dragon Tail Tarot. My name is Ariel and this is your astrology forecast for the month of January 2022. This is going to be a very interesting month, guys. There's a lot of astrological activity for this beginning of this new year. So we're going to just go over all of the different details, the major planetary motions, movements, and its significance for us. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you are doing great out there. I always appreciate you hanging out here at the channel. And if it's your first time here, thank you so much for being here. I hope you'll reach out, hit that subscribe button, and join the Dragon family. Always wonderful to welcome you. So let's go ahead and jump right on in to this chart. I'm just going to hold this up. I hope it is coming through clearly enough. I know sometimes my old camera here can be a little bit fuzzy, but this is a chart that is run for the very beginning of the month of January 2022, and it does have Aries as our rising sign on there. You can already see what a huge amount of Capricorn energy that we are coming into this year with. The sun, of course, at 11 degrees of Capricorn opening our month. We have Venus in retrograde, still stationed in Capricorn. We have Pluto following along there very closely. Mercury as well has just moved into Capricorn as we start this month. Saturn is bringing up the rear a little bit here. Also all moved into the sign of Aquarius, however. So we do have 4 of our planets stationed in Capricorn. Venus still in that retrograde, which started on December 19th. Keep that in mind. We come into this month with Jupiter, our great benefactor, the ruler of the sign Sagittarius, in the sign of Pisces at 0 degrees. It just moved in there on December 28th, just a few days before the beginning of the new year. So this really does bring a very different energy and very different vibration to the beginning of this year, and really sets the tone for 2022 because Jupiter cycles last 1 year approximately through a sign. Usually in the middle of the year we'll have a little retrograde. It will track backwards into the previous sign, Aquarius. In this case, then it will right itself. It will go direct and it will head on back into Pisces. But it spends most of the year in Pisces. So absolutely this will be a year that brings in quite a lot of mystical energy, a lot of imagination, daydreaming, romanticism, all of those Pisces qualities. I would say that this is certainly a month and a year ahead that I would avoid, things like substances that you haven't used before. If you don't know what they'll do to your body, be very careful because the body is more sensitive under the auspices of Pisces. Those kind of things. Avoid going into a negative place with your emotions because Pisces can also be a little depressive, a little melancholy, right? And many times if you don't channel that melancholy or that energy out into something positive or productive like music or art or something beautiful, that's Pisces' big way to channel things out. That's why they're a very creative sign. But if you don't find a positive direction for that energy, it many times can turn into things like depression, substance abuse, escapism, and just unsavory behaviors or habits, because it's not what you want to go into. You don't want to fall down that very dark rabbit hole that is the more negative side of Pisces. So keep that in mind. But Jupiter opens us up. It is generally a very positive planet, and so I would say the most positive things about Jupiter in Pisces is that it's going to open us up to a beautiful spiritual experience. That is what it is truly meant to do. Opens up our heart, gets us to be more compassionate, gets us to be more empathetic. And it's like if you can't do that, won't do that, you really suffer the consequences of it for sure, right? It's like you have to be open-hearted, you have to be more generous, you have to be more kind. And it really, that's what brings you your good luck, because Jupiter is expansive, it's very lucky. It's also encouraging you to use your true spirit, your true essence of yourself, of your soul, because Pisces, again, like I said, is very creative, and it's a creativity that comes from a deep spiritual well, a deep resource. It's very connected to the divine. This is a beautiful time when a lot of people will connect more deeply with the divine, with source, They'll be able to connect with their ancestors, their personal guides, their guardian angel, whatever it is that you feel is guiding you from the beyond. Pisces really heightens that perception. So people who are already very spiritual or creatively inclined, that's going to increase big time. And like I said, Jupiter stays in one sign for 1 year at a time. So, the next time that it will be back in the sign of Pisces will be 12 years, right? It comes around every 12 years. So that's another thing that you could think about. Where were you the last 12 years of your life? What were you experiencing? What was coming through then? You might experience a little bit of the same energy now that it is back in that sign of Pisces. So next up, we're going to go day by day, piece by piece, into where all of our planets are progressing. Where are they transiting? And I'll show the chart when need be, but I'm just going to go ahead. I've got my list that I always write on the back. And, for those of you who are just getting into astrology or are longtime students or teachers like me, you might want to get into one of these little books. I'm not paid to recommend this, but I really do love this little guy. I buy one every year for the new year ahead. This is the Llewellyn's Astrological Pocket Planner. I think they make this in a couple different formats, but I really do enjoy this one. I use it every time that I'm either doing a reading or I'm preparing for a video like this. Sorry, when I put something close to the camera, it fuzzes up. But it has all of the tables for each day. It tells you the planetary motions. It has 3 years worth of ephemeris tables in the back. So it's very helpful. It really is. It's going to show you your full moons, new moons, eclipses coming up, all that kind of good stuff. So it'll give you a great guide for what's going on each day. And if you have something like this, you can easily follow along with the list that I'm going to be giving you. So the beginning of January, like I said, we start out our month with Venus retrograde in Capricorn already in progress. That energy is going to be with us throughout the whole month because Venus does not go into direct motion until the end of the month on the 29th. And it will be in the sign of Capricorn until, boom, March 5th. This has been a very, very long transit of Venus in the sign of Capricorn. So people, I would say that Venus in Capricorn, I wouldn't call it good or bad, right? A lot of people want to say, oh, is that good? Oh, is that bad? I would say that the energy of Venus in Capricorn is not necessarily super romantic, but it is super committed, which in itself can carry a sense of sweetness or romance in itself. It's just a lot more practical than it is daydreamy and imaginative, right? It's a little different from our Pisces energy that Jupiter is traveling along, but they do complement each other well because the Pisces side brings in the daydreams, the imagination, the romanticism, whereas Capricorn brings in the practical, grounded energy that is needed to manifest something real and tangible. It's great to have those dreams, those beautiful ideas, but you know what? Capricorn says if you can't make something happen with it, if you can't manifest it into something tangible, what good is it, right? Where does it really gain its speed or work in the real world, quote unquote? So I would say that with Venus retrograde in Capricorn, we're absolutely doing a lot of rethinking, a lot of reworking into our personal relationships of all kinds. This, of course, is, something that's usually very necessary because Capricorn energy is all about efficiency. What works? What doesn't? If something is not efficient, if it's not working, if it's not healthy, if it's not progressive and productive, it gets rid of it very quickly. That's why many times people think Capricorns can be very cold, very, stoic, and they don't show a lot of emotion. And that really comes from the fact that they're so focused on what's working and what's not. And if something's not working, even if it hurts, even if they're feeling it inside, they're going to do, quote unquote, the right thing and get rid of that, toxic or unproductive element in their life, whether that's a person, a job, where they live, whatever it is. The Capricorn energy hates to waste time and it likes to be very efficient. And so when Venus is in this sign, you can imagine that our relationships take on the same tone. That is really joined up by the fact that, when it's in retrograde, it goes into that, that rethinking process. All the rewords apply when a personal planet like Venus is in a retrograde motion, because it means we're revising things. I would say that the month of January 2022 to me looks like a time where we're doing a lot of rethinking, a lot of reworking, and many of us are going into our personal relationships and saying, can this thing work? Can this last the test of time? Can this commitment survive? Is this working for me? Is it working for them? Because if it's not working for me, can't be working for them very well either. So it gets into all of those things about foundation, and can we really last the test of time with this person? Is it working? Is it functional? Do we basically get along? All of those kind of things come up with Venus retrograde. And when it's in Capricorn, it really is about planning for the long term, planning for a grounded, stable kind of future. Money can absolutely come into this. Career can absolutely come into this. Our personal ambitions. Do they respect your job? Do you respect theirs? Is there a mutual feeling of, yes, your work is important to you? I get that, and I'm not going to undermine that. I'm not going to belittle it in any way, right? That's a big thing too. We may as well, because, you know, Venus, in my opinion, we put a lot of emphasis on it for romance, relationships, socialization, which is very much a part of Venus for sure. It's a big part of it, probably the bulk of it, but it is also, so funny enough, a planet that does rule our money to a degree, the way we spend, the way that we value things to a certain point. And I have an eBay store, that's my other business, and I can always tell by the Venus sign, the way people spend and what they tend to spend on definitely changes. When it's in a more practical sign like Capricorn, the things people tend to buy are those things that they see as an investment, something that will last them a long time and is a good purchase for a good price. That is very much true. So I would say that we may also be reworking some of our personal values, what we spend, how we spend, and what it is that we are buying to bring into our life. Again, we do start the month with Jupiter already in Pisces, having moved there on December 28th. Saturday the 1st, the first day of the year, we do have Mercury, our planet of communication, moving into the inventive and futuristic sign of Aquarius. Mercury is in an accidental dignity in the sign of Aquarius. It's actually very good there. And it does really heighten our communication. It makes our minds work at the speed of light. We may have conversations where we kind of get ahead of ourselves, or we feel like our mind is going faster than our mouth and our words can come out. That's a very common thing. People, when Mercury is in Aquarius, tend to be very focused on the future, what's coming ahead. Sunday the 2nd, the next day, we have our new moon starting in the sign of Capricorn at 1:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The new moon, of course, is a 2-week cycle that is about productivity, greater momentum being made, building up to that full moon that comes in 2 weeks after the new moon. So I would say, if there's any time to really work your magic, if you want to make a lot of progress on something in your life, no matter what it is, I would say your pocket of time between Sunday the 2nd and Friday the 14th will be the best times to get that done. And the reason being is because once we hit Friday the 14th, that's our next big planetary movement, we have Mercury going into a retrograde. So keep that in mind. Mercury in Aquarius will be going into retrograde motion on Friday the 14th. So those are the two big planets that we have moving in retrograde through the month is going to be Venus and Mercury. We will absolutely be rethinking our relationships and our future plans for those and everything in life. Absolutely. When Mercury is retrograde in Aquarius, we do rethink the future. We do rethink those big visions, those big dreams, and our place in the mass consciousness. On Friday the 14th, our big asteroid Ceres, some people consider a dwarf planet, does go direct as well until let's see, no, not that's fine. So I'm just starting to get my notes. The Mercury retrograde lasts until February 3rd. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. It is a short retrograde. It's not like a super, super long one. It doesn't last over a month or anything like that. And thankfully, by the very first couple days of February, it goes into direct motion. But on the same day, Friday the 14th, our big asteroid Ceres does go direct. That is a really interesting and beautiful planet. You know, Ceres has a lot of deep symbology. It's very much the divine feminine. It's a very maternal energy. It has a lot of, you know, Ceres was, I believe, the mother of Persephone, right? And so she has that very maternal energy towards her daughter, right? So this can be, when it goes direct, to me, a big change of direction in how much, you know, that feminine nurturing energy. And when you pair that up with the energy of Jupiter in Pisces, we really do have quite a combination for a lot more compassion, nurturing, and caregiving coming in. It's going to be a very important theme for the beginning of the year. Monday the 17th, we have the full moon arriving in the sign of, again, very nurturing Cancer at 6:48 p.m. Eastern Time. I think it's a very beautiful energy that we have Pisces, Jupiter, Ceres direct, full moon in Cancer coming in. These are all very, like, to me, feminine, nurturing, mothery kind of signs. It's really about being caring and generous with your heart, with your time. That's going to get us through a lot of the harder, difficult aspects of these retrogrades through the month. Tuesday the 18th, we have another good turn, is Uranus, the ruling planet of Aquarius, goes direct at 10 degrees of Taurus. So that planet was in a retrograde motion, just like all of our outer asteroid belt planets, for about 5 months. So all my Aquarius folks, this is very good news for you. If you have felt like you've been really moving slowly or things have just been kind of stagnant over the last 4 to 5 months, your ruling planet is coming out of retrograde. It's ready to party, it's ready to move forward, and you're going to feel it. Wednesday the 19th, January 19th, that was my birthday, the sun moves into the sign of Aquarius at 9:39 p.m. Eastern Time. Like I've always said, I'm the very last degree of Capricorn. If I'd just been born a few hours later, I would have been an Aquarius. And so yes, that is the official day that the sun will move into Aquarius. Monday the 24th, we have Mars, our planet of direction, action, and assertive movement, moving into the sign of Capricorn. This is one of my favorite placements for Mars. I was born with Mars in Capricorn, and I absolutely love it. Mars in Capricorn is an excellent place for Mars. Even though Capricorn squares the sign of Aries, and that is the ruling planet, Mars functions very dynamically in the sign of Capricorn. It lends us greater stamina, stability, patience, and determination when it comes to getting things done or completing projects. Aries, you're going to love this energy. Capricorn, you're going to love this energy a lot. Taurus and Virgo will benefit greatly. So will Scorpio and Pisces. They're the ones that will get the most out of this transit. But anyone that's really looking to persevere forward on some kind of ambitious, determined, steadfast motion will absolutely love this energy. Tuesday the 25th, Mercury retrogrades back into the sign of Capricorn. So, you know, Aquarius and Capricorn are definitely getting a lot of focus put on them. That has a lot to do with, you know, learning from the past and planning for the future. Saturday the 29th, Venus does come out of that retrograde in Capricorn, but it will still be in that sign until March 5th. Monday the 31st, our last day of the month, that's going to be our new moon in Aquarius. So I think it's very interesting. When we have 2 full moons in a month, we call it a blue moon. What do we call it when we have 2 new moons in a month? I have no idea, but there should be a fancy term for it, because we are getting 2 new moons in the month of January 2022, starting with Capricorn, wrapping up with Aquarius. The way that I feel about this month, the themes and attributes that I would hand to it as an astrologer would be that it is learning from the past, looking forward to the future, and honestly, all of the processes, any of the delays or frustrations need to be handled with a lot of love, a lot of compassion for yourself and others. This is not a month to beat yourself up. This is not a month to beat up on anyone else. It's very much about being accepting of yourself, loving others through their process, because it's so important for you to, really galvanize from that beautiful, steadfast energy of Capricorn so that you can go into that very amazing, futuristic, and very open energy of Aquarius. It's very, Aquarius energy, pure, is very accepting, right? It's very accepting of the world at large. And it's interesting because, Saturn is the traditional ruler of both Capricorn and Aquarius. So they do share quite a common bond. These two signs tend to be some of the most unique, march into the beat of their own drum, very hard to pigeonhole. They really do their own thing, and they both have that commonality. I also want to point out that on February 1st, as we begin our February, we do start the Lunar New Year of the Tiger. So I'm very excited about that as well. I will be, of course, doing some videos that focus on the Chinese Lunar New Year, what that will be bringing through, because I always enjoy that side of astrology as well. So thank you guys. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, share it with your friends. This is a great month ahead. I think we're going to get through it, but like I said, yet again, remember to love yourself and others. Be gentle with yourself through your own process, as well as the ones around you, because, some of this is a lot of back and forth energy, a lot of reworking, and a lot of review coming through. So have a wonderful January, guys, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care.